It's time to address the zombified elephant in the room. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 absurd things in The Walking Dead.
Hey, don't be too long.
I'll go with you.
Hey, I got it.
For this list, we're looking at aspects of The Walking Dead that are either ridiculous or don't make any sense. Although the show is a work of fiction, its realistic approach and grounded tone makes certain details too absurd to ignore. Since we'll be taking examples from every season of the series, beware of some spoilers ahead.
And that is why I am here.
If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 10. The lack of zombie knowledge.
Out on the loading dock, piling trucks.
No, not the ones they put down. The ones they didn't. The walkers.
The characters on The Walking Dead have many names for their zombies. Roamers, biters, and walkers are just a few of their names for the undead. But why do characters avoid the word zombies like the plague? According to series creator Robert Kirkman, zombies were not a major part of pop culture in The Walking Dead universe. This is supposedly why people never say the Z word and had no clue how to fight walkers at first.
Y'all know nothing?
But even if Rick Grimes never saw Night of the Living Dead, the concept of zombies would still exist in several cultures and religions. The odds that not a single history professor or religious practitioner connected walkers to zombies is a bit of a stretch.
Oh, what ugly skank.
Number 9. Losing an eye barely matters.
There'll be more. There's got to be more.
Shortly after losing an eye, a person's ability to accurately gauge distance can be diminished. But it doesn't seem to bother anyone on The Walking Dead. Characters like Carl and the Governor lose half of their sight while keeping all of their accuracy. The Governor is so unaffected that he makes accurate headshots within hours of losing his eye. While Carl has a few months to adjust, he was spotted using his missing eye to aim his gun in several episodes.
Intelligent design.
By the time Gabriel becomes partially blind, losing half your sight looks more like a minor inconvenience than a potentially life-altering injury.
Take it from the half-blind art critic.
Number 8. Zombies decay too slowly. If a deceased body is not properly preserved, it will be ravaged by bugs and the elements. While we've seen walkers decay over the course of multiple seasons, the decomposition process should have gone a whole lot faster. Outside factors like water and humidity can cause bodies to decay quickly. This would leave most of the wandering zombies without skin. At the very least, their eyes should have been devoured by hungry scavenger bugs. Although the length of the decomposition process can vary, most walkers should be blind, eyeless skeletons crawling with, you know what?
I'm not having this conversation.
Maybe it's for the best that they don't portray decomposition accurately. Number 7. Hyundai's product placement.
Shane! Carl, what happened? Mom, I found something cool.
In Season 2, the most crucial character to join the cast was a 2011 mint green Hyundai Tucson.
The alert system has been activated. The Office of Civil Defense has issued.
Despite the vehicle showing up in nearly every episode until mid-season 4, it always stuck out like a sore thumb. Since the show's apocalypse begins roughly around 2010, Rick's gang miraculously managed to stumble upon a new 2011 car instead of something more common. The Tucson also looked way too good. While it occasionally got blood and mud on its exterior, it was always noticeably cleaner than other vehicles. Admittedly, it is hilarious to imagine the survivors taking a break from fighting walkers to watch the show's big product placement. It's the end of the world as we know it. Brought to you by Hyundai. Number 6. Herschel's incredible shotgun.
This is my farm. I'll die here.
When Herschel needs to take on a horde of walkers on his farm, he arms himself with a shotgun. His weapon blows a hole through countless walkers. End our suspension of disbelief. Herschel's shotgun appears to be a Remington 870 field gun. This particular model is designed to hold around 7 or 8 rounds at a time. However, the scene's audio and visuals suggest that Herschel is firing more ammo than his shotgun can physically hold. Although he's seen reloading the gun, he's still a couple of reloads short of making the scene realistic. While Herschel's shotgun spree wasn't physically possible, it was still undeniably badass. Number 5. Everything about cars and gasoline. When the series began, it was hard to believe the survivors couldn't find more working vehicles and gas among the tons of abandoned cars. But as the show went on, it was hard to believe they were driving at all. Most experts agree that gas will keep between 6 months to a year if properly stored. This means survivors would have found the fuel they siphoned from random cars unreliable.
You out? Running on fumes.
We can't stay here.
Even if the cars miraculously kept gas in working condition for a full year, it wouldn't have been long enough. Season 4 takes place around 500 days into the apocalypse. So, the vehicles that appeared that season, especially the governor's tank, should have been useless without a new supply of gas. Number 4. The world's so fresh and clean. Have you ever noticed how good the zombie apocalypse looks? There are dozens of perfect lawns, even though no one's around to mow them. Most survivors manage to keep their teeth, hair, and beards in excellent condition without dentists or hairdressers.
Water. Food. We'll hit some in the road.
And although food is scarce at multiple points in the series, characters don't lose significant amounts of muscle or weight from food deprivation. The only thing that looks better than their lawns, makeup, and fitness routines is their clothes. While characters occasionally have access to laundry, their clothes should be a lot more damaged by blood, walker guts, and weather. In reality, most survivors should look more like Daryl. And let's face it, even he looks pretty good.
Dog ate yesterday.
I'm not talking about the dog.
Number 3. Rick surviving his coma.
No. He's hurt!
At the beginning of the series, Rick Grimes gets shot and falls into a coma. By the time he wakes up, the world has been overrun by zombies. But how did he survive to see the world covered in walkers? The show's timeline and official sources suggest that Rick was in a coma for at least 4 weeks.
Hey, mister, you even know what's going on?
I woke up today. In the hospital. Came home, that's all I know.
This means that Rick would have had to survive for about a month on 1 bag of fluids and no medical attention. The ridiculous length of his survival has led some fans to believe the entire series is a dream conjured up in his comatose brain. But since that theory has been officially debunked, we are forced to accept Rick's survival as a medical miracle.
Mom said you died.
She had every reason to believe that.
Number 2. Rick being in charge. Now, we're not saying Rick is a bad person. He is an awesome zombie killer who can survive anything from a coma to an explosion. However, he's not the most consistent leader. In Season 2, he told his group that he would be calling all the shots. But after Rick started hallucinating, he handed his power to a council of his peers. 2 seasons later, he revived his Ricktatorship and took charge again. In addition to being indecisive, Rick also has violent tendencies and serious trust issues.
What?
While the group definitely needed him for major battles, they should have left the decision-making to someone who was more level-headed and consistent.
Who is he?
Negan's the head of a group of people he calls the Saviors. As soon as the walls were built, the Saviors showed up.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. How zombie guts work. At all. When Rick and his allies had to sneak past a city of walkers, they covered themselves in zombie guts and stayed quiet. The walkers somehow knew they smelled different and left the silent survivors alone. Although this method was mostly successful, the survivors only used this technique a handful of times. While covering yourself in zombie guts is probably gross, it still provides a massive advantage over the undead. Although the process possibly got Gabriel sick once, he is literally the only person who suffered negative consequences.
I have to get him out of here. We have to get him out of here.
Even the insane Whisperer group has the common sense to use this camouflage technique. While constantly using guts might reduce the tension of the series, it could save countless lives.
Bad ideas for an Olympic event, this would take the gold.
Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.